people? Welcome to the podcast, Unveiled Paths podcast. You already know who it is. It's Beezus. We got my guy.
Dustin.
Yes, sir. We got our good friend on our freaking podcast today. My guy, Justin Harris. It's a real story. It's a real person. I fucked that all up.
No, you didn't.
I fucked that all
crazy,
up.
man.
I fucked that all up, man. First episode, we're starting off hot, man. We're starting off hot, man. First episode, we started off hot. It's all good, though.
Yeah.
It's all good. So, Justin, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, I'm Justin. Known you for a while. You know,
I met you how many months ago now, man?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. You were like the big guy that was just like
I
around.
guess. Yeah,
Dude, that you guess, sir? No, that's literally what it was.
Well, I'm definitely nobody special. That's factual.
Special to me, man.
Plenty of people will tell you that.
You're special to me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You've always, gave me like kind words and stuff like that whenever I've talked to you, like aside to other people. And that was like one of the big things. I was like, nah, he's a real dude. Like he's a real legit guy. Like deep down in there, he might be the biggest man in the room, but hey,
I don't know about that. Well, I always knew you had a good heart, so that's why I talked to you.
Appreciate it, man.
You can kind of sense that stuff out.
You know. So where you from, man? Where you from? Where you actually from?
Well, I was born in St. Louis, and then we moved. My dad worked for the railroad. We moved to Texas.
Your dad worked for the railroad?
Refrigerated car division of Anheuser-Busch. And then we moved to Plainview, Texas. And with that, when I was about 7, that's when my dad got called to ministry, became a preacher, and we moved back to Missouri. And I lived in Stillville, Missouri from 7 till I was beginning my junior high school. Moved to Sykeston.
Man.
That's where I graduated from. That's why I'm confused. I wore like cowboy boots and flat bills. I don't know what's up.
Hey, that's Sykeston, dog. That is so Sykeston, too.
Yeah. And then,
what year did you graduate in Sykeston?
94.
So you're older than my siblings. You're older than my siblings. Yeah. You might know my older sister, but like.
Well, there's Blissits everywhere.
Blissits everywhere, dog.
Yeah. So, everywhere. After that, they bought a JUCO in Illinois, went to Missouri State in Springfield, and then I was in St. Louis for a long time where I got married and built a family, and we moved down here in 2013. Been here ever since.
What made y'all move down here? Ask you that.
Getting away from
St. Louis.
Well, yeah, I was just the career I was in wasn't conducive to family life, and basically to save the family and what I really wanted, we moved down here. Yeah. Started over. Ended up getting divorced anyway. But
I mean, it happens, man. Yeah. That's what life is, really.
Yeah. It is. That's for sure.
I mean, you get married, you might get divorced.
It is.
It's no 100% chance that it's going to work out.
No, you
that's
hope
the day and age we live in.
You hope it does, but it's, I don't wish it on anybody. It's not a good deal.
No, man. I'm the outside looking in. I just had bad relationships, and I've never been married, and I don't know. I don't know if she'll come or if she will or she might not. We'll see.
I think that's been the
age-old question.
Struggle of my entire life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Going through
you were married once?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was married almost 20 years, had 4 kids.
20 years.
My daughter.
20 years.
My daughter, luckily my kids do well. My daughter's School of Pharmacy in St. Louis. My older son plays ball in college. My younger son's a sophomore, and I have a little baby, Juju. She's in 7th grade.
Dang, that's what's up. So your second son, he plays for Jackson, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a sophomore?
Mm-hmm.
You said sophomore?
Bigger than me.
Yeah, he was telling me about it. I wish I could have caught a game, man. I wish I could have.
He will next year, bro.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. Got some time.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
What is your other son? He play ball, basketball,
basketball.
Which school?
He got offers in both. He went to Missouri State West Plains playing basketball.
West Plains.
He's a freshman.
Yeah, West Plains. Man.
He's realizing the struggles of JUCO right now.
Yeah.
I said, hey, stay with it, man. It'll put a layer of grind on you. You don't know you can get.
It will
make you be able to do anything. So, I mean, I lived that. So, but he's doing good. But yeah, it was. I don't know. That's probably what changed my course a lot was divorce.
Yeah.
Like it was devastating to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like family, that's all it ever meant to me.
That's really how I feel. You know what I mean? Especially like I said, outside looking in. I got 2 kids. You already know this. Son and a daughter. My son's 5. My daughter just turned 4 a few weeks ago, and like just never really being able to obtain like the actual like goal. You know what I mean? To be married, have kids, buy a house. Everything's just happy, dory, whatever they say. But just being able to like still be there and take care of my kids, still, continue to move on in life. And like I understand where you're coming from when you saying it was devastating. Like I just never like really got to experience that drastic side of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's kind of like a reason why I got you on the show, just to get your point of view on that. You know what I mean? Like to really grasp how this is and see if you got something that'll save me, save Dustin. You know what I mean?
Well,
Save
I don't know about
somebody else.
saving anybody. I'm still trying to save myself, but no, I think, for me, you grow up like, and a lot of people, and even me too, you think about the picture you want in life. You know what I'm saying? It would
Yeah.
be the kids, the dog, the white fence, the car, the this, the that,
Yeah.
happy. And I think some people go into it just wanting that, and some people going to wanting what that picture's made out of, but lose it in finding all that stuff and
Yeah.
getting busy with life, which is what happened to
Yeah.
me and my ex-wife. I think that it's what it's made out of is more important.
Yeah.
And looking back, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I mean, my relationship with my ex-wife was horrible. I don't blame her for anything I did.
Yeah.
I don't know she doesn't either, but
It's called growth.
it's hard. I think going through that made me deal with things that maybe I've dealt with my entire life that just didn't know.
Yeah.
In searching for what I think everybody really wants. I know I do, but like just true intimacy with somebody where
Yeah.
there's actual
Right.
like love and appreciation that you grow old with.
Yeah.
And where I messed up, I just go, post divorce, and this scenario affected how I was even in my relationship with my ex-wife. I think that, and it really boils down to two things, for me, feeling loved and having purpose. And
That's what every man really wants, is to have purpose.
right,
Deep down, like that's
right.
it. That is it.
It is. So, but I think a lot of times when I reflect on it, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but I think a lot of how we feel what, like even in today's, when I meet women of dating or like a lot of what I see it even comes from me, all comes from hurt and pain
Yeah.
and how you deal with it or where you go to like, and how you heal. And I think you start learning that at a very young age, like as far as like what makes you feel accepted, what makes you feel you have to prove,
Yeah.
and or there's something missing and you don't even know what that is, and go ahead.
Can we
Go ahead, bro.
jump into your childhood
That's what I was about to
and
say.
see,
Was that
just
what you
kinda,
saw growing up?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I had the perfect model in a family. I mean, my mom and dad are, you know, like told me as a like
I'm sure you
legit
said that was minister.
Christian people, loving people, heart for people,
Yeah.
live by it, like what you would consider, and that's why my dad's so respected, but genuinely just not a judgmental, like just the way it's supposed to be.
No.
I didn't have a great relationship with my mother. I think that stemmed a lot of what was inside of me as far as regarding what love and affection or comfort looks like from a woman.
Okay.
Not that any that because we've made amends since,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, and like even you, like if you're mom or dad, like no one goes into it to be a bad mom or a bad dad or
no.
like I don't know how to be. I'm just trying to like
Be the best parent you can be.
love, and you're
The best
dealing with
person you
things
can be.
that you dealt with,
Yeah.
and I know my mother had, her father was, it wasn't a good situation for her, and
Yeah.
she dealt with a lot, and you, like I said, you learn how to handle your hurt and pain when you're a child, I think, and
Yeah.
and the habits that create that, whether it be in guarding yourself, being open, what you look for, what you try to fill it with, and
Do you think that a lot of, I would say, trauma from your childhood stemmed from your dad being gone all the time when he worked on the railroad?
oh no,
No?
no, I was little.
Little?
Like me and my dad have always been tight and close.
Okay.
Like my dad's like my best friend. Like he's, you know, we're a lot the same. Always been there for me. Like, but he was a parent when I grew up. He wasn't a friend. Like he was,
Yeah.
Right.
which is the way I think it
It's
should
just
be.
cut and dry.
That's
Yeah,
how-
and
that's how my
respect, and like there's
relationship with my
discipline,
father
there's
was.
accountability.
Yeah.
But no, I had very loving home, and there was nothing bad in my home. Like we grew up without much. We made do, like I've never been a person that like material things don't really matter. I can always do what it's just
Right.
like it was that kind of home. But
And they were loving, your father and mother were loving to each other, set good
oh yeah,
examples and
yeah, they're
everything.
they're they're never would argue in front of us. Like
See, and that's one thing. Like I love that. I love that you had the same experience like that I had growing up. Like I've
Mhm.
told you before, like my father was he was a elder in the church. My mother was a missionary. Like they church every Sunday, every Wednesday. Like we was going to church until I hit a certain age. Fact checkers out there in the world might catch me, but until I hit a certain age, that's what I grew up in. And like I never seen them argue, I never seen them fight. And that is one thing that I like think to this day. Like I have this perfect picture in my head. And if it doesn't fit that frame, it's not for me. And I think that that is something that like a lot of people don't realize. Like you were saying earlier, you get that picture in your head and where you came from, like that's what you've seen, that's what you've grown accustomed to in that.
Well, if you're like me, a lot of my problem is having to figure it out for myself,
Yeah.
even from the God front
Yeah.
of like, you can be told your whole life, do this, don't do this, do that.
Yeah.
But for me, until I realized why, a lot of times that's why I learned the hard way, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a
Mhm.
Yeah.
lot of times you don't, so I had a great upbringing. And to your point on that, I understand completely. And I think that's something I've had to really come to realize probably just in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But back to the childhood, yeah, that was fine. I mean, it was, and I think some people are born with certain personality traits or this or that. Like they were just always, kind of restless in me to do more, do this, or I've always been a pleaser. I've always been a giver. Like I want to, like that's what motivated me, even in playing ball.
Yeah.
So you know, and really it'll boil down to two simple things, really. But you just live your life. You go on, you get married, and start having the kids and working and providing. And you think your definition of a man is protect, provide,
Mhm.
and you know,
What
I
did
would.
that look like for you?
I mean, I was working 70 hours a week, bro.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And from a physical standpoint, I've always not be. I think some has to do with my size, which I really don't look at myself that way. But you know,
Dude, you're a big man.
yeah, but for some, well, but I think there's more to like someone feeling safe than, but your overall presence that probably comes from your soul. Like for
Yeah.
some reason, even well, I know why, but even I feel good about most women that have had extremely traumatic experiences with men or whatever the case may be. No matter what, they always feel safe around me. So because you know, and I'm happy about that. But um, what were we talking about before that with the.
What did protect and provide look like for you, like growing up? Like, how did your parents show that to you to implement those
See,
values within yourself?
I don't want to answer it for you, but like I feel like you never really had to look at that. Like you never really had to look at that
No, and
aspect
some people
growing
might
up.
call that sheltered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
referring to
but
when
it
I'm like, you have
yeah,
that perfect child. Like it's a
yeah.
Well,
perfect childhood.
the people who haven't got to experience that might call it sheltered, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, like your experience, that was a good, loving family, and that brought you to your values, and you learned those at a young age. To whereas people who didn't experience that have to learn their values if they choose so, and
Right.
a lot of them don't
Mhm.
choose to do so.
No,
Mhm.
they don't. I think it also goes back to the purpose of how they feel loved if they never have or what it means to them.
A
Right.
lot of people don't even understand that.
So yeah, it was like that's what protection was to me. As far as had nothing to do with having guns in the house and being like
Yeah.
being able to beat people up. It had more to do with like protecting that unit as a family on what they do and where they go and like and as a kid you're like leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? But looking back, you get the same with my kids now.
Yeah.
You want to try me. So yeah, it was. That's what it looked like for me, and I think the main staple of having peace and protection in the home, you know, uh, to me, w- whether I practiced it in my life or not, was having God in the center of
Okay. You mentioned earlier about you not having a good relationship with your mother. You care to elaborate on that?
it. Yeah, I can, but like, and I no means like my mother loves me. I love her. We
Mhm.
Right.
made amends. She's not a reason for anything that I've become. But sometimes you have to self-reflect to understand why you operate a certain way. That's the only reason I've ever even thought about it. Yeah, she was, I don't know if I want to talk about it or not, to be honest with you. I don't want her to
It's
feel
alright.
bad.
It's
But
alright.
it's
I'm more
One
so
one
interested in you making amends. Like, how long ago did you make amends with her? Like, how many years did it take for that to come
oh,
around
just a
for her?
couple of years
Just a
ago to
couple
where
years
we
ago.
like
We
I don't
sit down, have a
yeah.
conversation, talk to her.
You know how you're with somebody for a long time in a certain situation, and just their mere presence make you feel that way about yourself, maybe even her. That's how that was for us for
Yeah,
a long time.
yeah,
I understand where you're coming from because
Yeah,
I didn't have a relationship with my mom either.
yeah,
So, you know, so I was just kind of seeing how it was for you, if there was a way that same if it for me,
yeah. To me, it was more of a feeling of just being cold and not understanding me.
Yeah.
I would say, so to speak, and very judgmental.
Right.
And uh, it just made me feel really bad about myself. I think that's the first things that planted the seeds in me of not being able to feel be loved.
Right.
If I'm being completely honest.
I feel that same way,
Yeah,
like whenever I was growing up, I felt that same thing. And it took me a while to really break down that wall and just be acquaintances with her and
yeah,
talk with her and stuff like that, And as much as I had a lot of resentment for my upbringing, it was more or less like, you know, I didn't know her side of the story either.
yeah.
right.
So I can't really hold her accountable a lot for the way that I come because she's got a story too. She's
Mm.
got a
Right,
childhood upbringing as well.
And it's like a
right.
weird thing to think about because like it takes you a while. It takes you a while to get to that point to where you realize that. You have
Yeah.
to realize like that she was going through stuff too. Like she was dealing with this, yada yada yada. I don't know, by any means, and I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
apologize for anybody, but it just it takes a minute.
Did your
Right.
mom mom try to make amends with you, like ask you for
She
forgiveness and
she
stuff?
did, and there was a lot of resentment on my end that I just was like, no, I just washed my hands of it and everything like that. And then after going through my journey and everything and figuring out where I was and how I was feeling, I opened up more to it, to being, giving her that relationship with her son because I can resent her for the stuff that she did my whole life, but I also don't know what she was dealing with. And it may have not had anything to do with me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I believe that she was doing the best she could with what she knew how to do.
Right. Well, I think it's huge that one, you have a big enough heart to do that. Says a lot about you. I think it's another big deal that your mom asked you for forgiveness because in my experience, which really took me a longer time than I thought to heal from the hurt and pain from my life for 20 years in divorce, like it's one thing to be hurt. And it's not that you want somebody to feel sorry for you or not that you don't take accountability for your actions. But to me, when nobody, especially the person that hurts you, doesn't acknowledge that in some way, even if they don't agree with it, or can just understand that, hey, that did actually affect you that way. And I'm sorry for that. It takes you a lot longer to heal.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's harder to let go of that resentment. So I
It
think
is.
I think that's the starting point of being able to heal is with someone that you've had that experience with.
Yep. And a whole lot of grace, a whole lot of empathy, and
Yeah,
healing within yourself as
100%.
well.
And with that comes some understanding.
Yeah.
I think you meet people and you meet people that say they're sorry a lot. Like you've dated women that say I'm just, and I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I promise you, they've experienced what me and you have in some way or
Oh,
another
yeah.
of
Yep.
feeling so hurt, blaming themselves, looking at what they could have done different, but with zero, not even call it justification, but just awareness. Because to me, because I'm a person that's going to reflect on myself
Yeah.
and I have a giving heart. Like I don't want to hurt anybody. Like I don't think most people don't. You know what I'm saying? When someone can't give you. I think that's why it's so important to ask for forgiveness of people that you hurt,
Yeah.
because it releases you and it releases them. But I got to the point where like almost start questioning yourself, which a lot has to do with self worth. Like, well, why am I and like you? And then you'll fight it off in different ways by overcompensating and
Mhm.
going wild this way or filling it with this or that.
Yeah.
That's not living in peace,
No.
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 which I think we all want to do.
So what was growing up in like high school and like junior high and stuff like that for you, friend wise and girlfriends and stuff?
I was great. I mean, I was always likable guy, got along with everybody, didn't matter who you were, what color you were. I mean, just who I was. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel
you
like you
know,
was that dude.
I was, yeah, I mean, I was never the cool dude. My parents let me go out at all. People would drive by my house. I'd be shooting basketball in the driveway. They're going to parties. So, what you doing, Harrison? I'm like, working on my free throws, homie.
Putting it up, putting it up.
Working on my free throws. I'm
Yeah.
like, see you, man.
Yeah.
I had girlfriends, but, and, I just, and looking back, it was the same feeling I had through my marriage that I had to deal with after I got divorced.
Do you think that you never really healed from those previous relationships before you got into your marriage?
I don't think I went into those relationships with the right purpose in mind,
Okay.
and including my marriage.
Mhm.
Not that it couldn't have worked and I didn't love her and she didn't love me. Um, I don't think you know, that's what it boils down to for me. And really, all those relationships I had, they felt good. I was in love, would have done anything for them. And, most of them that have been with me are around me know that I'm sweet, I'm thoughtful, I'm caring, like I'm a hugger, like,
Yeah.
and when you're younger, there's different things that go on in your life. You don't realize, I don't think kids should be too serious when they're that young, but I think it boiled down to have the real purpose in my life for myself because it didn't matter what. And looking back, I see it as a kid, you don't because you're just full of testosterone and doing whatever. You know what I'm
Doing
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, just being an idiot.
Yep.
But you're like, there's still that something missing, and didn't necessarily have to do with not knowing what affection or love looked like from a woman, like from a mother standpoint, or like I felt in a lot of ways I was always searching for that type of validation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think without my own purpose involved, thinking that would give me my purpose or was my purpose. Um, so it really, and I think as you get older, you understand that more, I think, and how it affected my relationship with my ex-wife. Like I just didn't have peace in myself. And I knew where to get it. I knew what I needed to follow. I needed what I needed to do, but you know,
Sometimes I feel like get stuck in our own ways and
Hey man,
we know what to do, but we just don't
life,
for,
life,
it comes in
kids.
and
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday comes, and then you
yeah.
just you. Next thing you know, it's next
well, I
week.
tell you,
So
you guys are younger than me. I'm an old man, but figured out before than other than like I did. I can tell you that
yeah,
because if you are truly, which I'll say this without hesitation, if it hadn't been for the prayers of my family, I'd be dead. There's just no question about that. All the things I've been involved in, done, like it just what I just. So there was definitely grace and mercy on my life for sure.
yeah. I mean, you've gotten to the point now where you witnessed it, like you see it, like you know it. So like you live that, and that's what I see in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where I feel like you have that knowledge, like you can, you know what I'm saying?
I don't
Help.
know about knowledge, but I think the one thing that still has driven me is to find that true intimacy
Yeah,
and that partnership in life and do it the right way. And I think a lot of it for me was finding my real purpose. And I'm not talking about like career wise or this and that, but what your heart is truly for and wants to do. And when your heart's not in the right place, you can't do that.
yeah,
Right.
And mine wasn't. And it was like I'd either be looking for or being in relationships with women for them to give me my purpose,
yeah,
or and at the end of the day, no matter how you want to look at it, like when you could be as giving and as thoughtful and as understanding and as caring, and want to know about their past and help them through their trauma and what they've dealt with and like make them feel loved. If it's not coming from you and the right purpose, it's always going to come across selfish in some way because you're going to
Sure,
want
man.
more than them than they can give.
Man,
They can't give you your purpose
no.
and they
See,
shouldn't have to.
that's what I've been wondering. I was like, man, I was like, how do you find purpose when you're dating somebody? Like, I feel like you already have to have that purpose. Like, you
You
already
do.
have to, like, as a man, you
Yeah.
got to have that instilled into you that, nah, this is blueprint, baby. Like, this is what we doing.
I think not only as a man, but as
Person,
human
you
or
know?
people in general,
Yeah.
I think if you go into it looking at somebody being your purpose, then you're not in it for the
No.
right reasons.
No, it's not. I don't think I was intentionally doing that. I just,
Right.
like I said, I
Yeah.
had so much hurt and like, guilt that I dealt with, but it just never stopped. And so the people that were hurting me it just kept on. It was hard to get out from underneath. And I just struggled with that. And it would make me anxious and like can't sleep, can't do this. I'm chasing this. I can't be still,
Yeah.
And honestly, it took me meeting someone that was in that place that it was a woman that was very like she had her purpose and was living out action in that purpose every day. And she's dealt with things that me and you can't even imagine,
Yeah.
and I wasn't in that place. So, and to me, it was just another missed opportunity to like, you know, so that's what really, for me, a guy that thinks, I can overcome anything, I can do anything, like I'm going to get through this, I'm going to get through that, like whatever, like sometimes like like you start asking for God to break you down, be careful what you ask for is all I'm saying.
Hmm.
I mean, because it's
Yeah.
coming.
So
Yeah.
you go to church. You go to church every Sunday, don't you?
Yeah, for the most part.
Which church are you going to?
I've been going to Discovery Live.
Discovery. Is that in
Yeah.
Cape or
Yeah,
Jackson?
it's in Cape.
Cape.
I've been in Connecticut a couple times. I don't know. I'm still trying to find a home church, I think. Well,
My buddy's been telling me to go to the Crocs. I
where?
don't know.
LaCroix.
LaCroix?
Yeah,
Yeah,
LaCroix. I
somebody's
said
there.
LaCroix.
Whatever. I mean, church is church. I mean, as long as it's a spirit-filled church and they believe in,
Yeah.
it's taught the right things. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think that was the biggest thing for me in being able to finally be still.
Kind of being
Like once you
sure of
get through
yourself.
the hurt and then like the being defensive part, because people are just labeling you or this or that, like just, you know,
I feel like most of the time it's just projection of how they truly feel,
About
about
themselves.
themselves. It comes a lot with it.
it is. And I don't care who you are. Like I consider myself a confident man, but you say you don't care about what people think, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you care about what certain people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have, I think it's the hardest thing to do to relinquish and accepting, hey, that's just what they're going to think.
That's just what they
And I'm
gonna
not
do.
changing their mind. That's how they're always going to treat me. And that's just how it's going to be.
Man,
And it's hard for a guy that wants to prove.
that's big right there. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them out there. That's big.
So yeah, that's probably the hardest thing. I mean, there's been, and I went through it, man. Like it was, and today's dating world's crazy.
Today's dating world's trash, man.
Well, you know what?
I couldn't be you. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it's very hard, especially a man my age. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't,
The way
not
the
that I
women
can't
be,
get a date. You know what I'm
the way
saying?
the
But
women be looking at you, boy.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I know about it. I'll be looking. I'll be watching them.
Whatever. I
I'll
don't
be
see
seeing
that.
it.
I don't look at myself that way for sure.
I mean, but
Whatever. I appreciate it.
I hear the same
appreciate it.
thing, like I told you, like
Yeah.
the guy came up to me the other day in the gym, man, them quads are popping. I'm like, man, appreciate it, dog. I didn't know you were looking that
I
hard.
want
But
no
like,
dude to compliment like that ever. I want to put that on record.
Yeah.
that happened.
I think,
That happened.
yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think that that was the hardest thing for me. I mean, there was knowing what I think because of that hurt and wanting, like, I hate to use the word justification, but just maybe understanding of someone to like,
You got to understand where people are.
yeah,
And
and
you got to leave them there when they need to be left there.
you do. And I think like just like I was fighting so many different things on so many levels. And it seems no matter what, when that's going in your personal life, it seems like the regular world throws stuff on top of you that presses you down, which happened to me
Yeah.
with my job and stuff. Like I couldn't even see, bro. Like I was just overwhelmed in every aspect of my life.
What was some of the things you were going through at that point?
just financial stress, job stress, just they had changed some things. It just something's beyond my control. They put it all on me anyway. It's just I've always been able to like I don't like I'm gonna carry whatever. We're gonna get through whatever. I think that's how God really broke me down. Is that I had nowhere to look but up because I could if I took a step forward, I got pushed back down. If I went this way, I got knocked back down this way.
Yeah.
I just kept feeling worse about myself and worse about myself. So finally, it's almost like I lost hope. Like there's just no point.
Yeah.
And then you're living kind of numb. And then it really doesn't matter what you do. It does to an extent, but you don't even realize you're doing it. You
Kind of
know?
autopillit.
Huh?
Kind of autopillit.
Yeah. You're
Just
not
move,
feeling, you're
going
not
through the
yourself. You're
motions.
like, you're
Yeah.
not, it's, and your whole, everything just seems meaningless. You even started questioning things you believe in since you were a child.
Man.
You
That's when
know,
like you were at your low point. Like,
100%.
that's when you
Like no
really
matter
know.
what you see me out there, that's what's going on inside me.
Yeah.
What was it like whenever you realized that that's where you were and you didn't want to stay there anymore?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you asked that. The funny thing is I knew I didn't want to stay there a long time ago. But and as honest as I was trying to be with myself, it was hard to do when I didn't know what the truth was. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And literally there had been nights, I put on some music, particularly worship music, stuff like that. I mean, my pillows would be soaked, bro. I didn't know what to do. Like I was just broken.
Yeah.
And you could sense it, but then instead of staying by myself and dealing with that, which I think was a very hard thing for me to do, was understand, like, which was a problem in my marriage, really, is how I was made to feel, but how to be lonely in the right way and how to accept being alone in the right
Okay.
way,
That's what I was about to say.
So, which had a lot to do with the, decisions I made in my marriage and, just that holy lonely, not feeling love, desperation almost. As bad as that sounds, you could be a confident dude
Yeah.
and still feel that way inside
Yeah.
and never show it,
Right there.
Yeah. But what was your question specifically again
So
about?
what like how did you know that you were there? And then what was your driving force to get you out of that?
I had nowhere else to go, bro. I had tried everything that I could possibly do. I
Like jobs,
no, I
asking
was
for
gonna get out of
help.
the financial thing.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna make that happen. But all the other anxiety and stress in my life from just was going on inside of me personally was affecting
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha.
Like I ain't scared of none of that stuff, bro. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
make something happen. Always do.
You'll make some paper.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
make something. I've had my whole life, but I'm not gonna. But the internal hurt and like the deeper root of what was going on inside of me was affecting everything outside of it. And there was just it got to the point where just you think you know the answer. You could be praying to God, but if you're praying to God out of the wrong purpose, you're saying the wrong prayer.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why it's not getting answered. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And that's kind of where I was at, bro. Till finally I'm like, I got numb and hopeless and just, started not caring so much. And then, honestly, I almost died.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there asking forgiveness just to see my kids the next day.
Man. Man. I can tell you one thing, that is not a good feeling any man should ever have to go through,
Mm-mm.
honestly, because that is one of the things that I've had to deal with,
Yeah.
is being told when you can see your kids or if you can see your kids. And that's deep. So like it's one thing that I commend you, you know what I'm saying? I commend you on that. Like,
Yeah.
that
Anyway,
was
sorry
just
about that.
nah, you
No,
good,
you're
bro.
good, bro.
It was
That was a conversation I was having the other
I,
day with somebody. Like that is one thing that you don't ever want to have to go through. Guy has 2 kids. He kind of similar story to my own, but he was telling me that his kid's mother was like doing some weird activity, acting different and stuff like that. I was like, man, get your kids. I was like, regardless of anything, get your kids, get that taken care of, and figure out the rest. You know what I mean? Because life gets tricky. He was like, oh no, man. I'm like, nah. I just went through what you're going through, buddy, and I'm gonna give you this little bit of knowledge that I have, so you don't have to feel the way that I felt. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from, man. That's
Yeah.
one thing, though. That's one thing right there that
Yeah.
I
I
can.
I do as well. You know, you will hear a lot more about it on my episode,
Yeah,
but just a little perspective. I was going through my divorce too, and I had it ready. Didn't know what else to do. I was ready to go,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, if there's a God, give me a sign. Otherwise, I ain't got no more to give.
Yeah.
And probably like 20 minutes later, one of my buddies called me. It's like, hey man, just wanted to check in on you. I was like, man, I really need somebody to talk to. And
yeah,
we went and talked for like 4 or 5 hours.
yeah.
If it
It's
wasn't,
amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, it
hmm
is.
I actually feel like this is purposeful for me.
Yeah,
Even like I said, when that happened, and I'm literally laying there, and one of my buddies is making sure I'm staying alive, and not from a trying to commit suicide type way or nothing
yeah.
like that, but just like
Checking
doing
in
things I
on
shouldn't. You
you,
know what I'm
making
saying? Like,
sure
no, he
you
was with
ain't.
me the whole
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and I didn't know what was going on, and I remember asked forgiveness, but I also remember, if you're gonna give me one more day, like show me what's up because I
yeah,
can't do this no. And I guess after about 20 minutes, when my body started calming down, and I knew that, you know, I felt in my heart I wasn't gonna die because there's a moment I did. That's when it just kind of hit me, kind of an aha moment a little bit of because when I mean, you think you're gonna die, bro,
that's not it.
and you're not one to like you ain't trying to like you
Yeah,
think
you
like
ain't trying
I just
to.
did something to kill myself.
Yeah,
yeah.
Um, and you're on that verge of that, like, man, things get stripped away that don't matter. Sometimes you can see real clear what's going
what is going
on.
on?
And for me, it was go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead. Finish up.
It was for me, it was the purpose in my life and where love actually comes from. And that's when I started thinking about like the purpose in my life. How I need to be filled with the right kind of love from God, not anybody else,
Yeah,
so that I can be the rock for somebody else that I need to be. And to your point on dating early, it is crazy. But all that stuff of like that picture we talked about earlier to me
yeah,
of this, none of that matters. And I think it's all byproducts of not having the right or being with someone with the same purpose.
yeah,
And I think that, for me, I think there's a lot of benefit in going through things with people, like appreciation for that and like developing a deeper intimacy. So to me, if I have the right purpose for my own life first, and I meet a woman with that, same purpose in her life for her first, then it doesn't matter
no,
what they
everything.
got going on, what I got going, if they're going through. You don't have to do that alone.
Yeah,
And I'll say this too. Like, I truly believe that, and I believe there's a devil. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, I don't, people can think what they want, whatever. But there's a real enemy out there that wants to destroy you.
yeah,
And I think the main root of all of it is to keep you 100% from true love and your purpose.
and your purpose.
Because if you don't have that and you're searching for the other, you're always going to be out of whack. And you're
Yep.
going to find ways. And that's when they get into you. Like when you're missing that something and you don't have that right purpose or the right love in your heart, you literally, there's things will come into your life and that's when they get a hold of you. That's when like things take over, like whether it be with lust or with material
Yeah,
things
yeah,
or with medicating yourself to get through, or, and you start feeling like I can't this. And then when you're coming back from that and you do find it,
you don't realize how much time you wasted doing some dumb shit.
you do. But you also like, and I've met people like this too. You get out of that and you're on your journey. You've gotten through that. And there's a time that you do need to do things for yourself and be alone. But we were not made to be alone. That's not why
No,
God created
no,
us.
No.
And I think people get so caught up in society of like, well, I don't need him. I don't need that. I don't need nobody. And we don't. Well, define need,
Man,
homie.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't need you to pay my bills. You know what I mean? But
no,
like we're meant
but we can have a conversation.
to complement each other.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
to me, if you have your right purpose of living for yourself the way you should, and my opinion would be God's design, and you have a woman that's doing that with whatever she's been through or going through, I think that's the key to having that lifetime of love and appreciation and being that couple 90 when you're
It
dancing,
is.
that 90-year-old couple dancing people are going to awe to
Yeah.
because you still have that. Because you can have your separate purposes in life that you're serving these. That's going to make you, and that dude, when you have that, to me, that does away with all the byproducts of what you worry about, what you think about, even from your hurt standpoint.
Yeah.
That you're with it's going to come understanding and patience and trust and but boundaries that you have not because of the other person, but because of who
Because
you're
of-
actually living for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you find that other person, I think same purpose, I think, and that's why the enemy tries so hard to keep you from that is because one, he knows that true love comes from God. He don't want you to have that. You're not going to be fulfilled in that. That's the only thing that's going to fulfill you.
Yeah.
Personal level.
Yeah.
But when you come together with another person that way, like
Ain't nothing that can stop
there's
it.
and you actually have a stronger and deeper purpose together, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it took me, hard roads to realize that
Oh yeah.
because I didn't want to be alone.
It took me about 10 years to realize that because the same, brother. Like, and it really stems from, realizing that you can't recreate the picture from what you think it is. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
got to make your own. You got to draw your own. You got to paint your own. You got to make it your own life and you got to
Yeah.
live it. But it does come with understanding and time and effort, and two people aren't just going to click. It's not going to ever happen. You have to understand. You have to learn how to understand the person that you choosing to be with, and that's like
You
big.
gotta have a lot of grace and
Yeah.
you gotta have a lot of understanding and
Growth.
growth together. It's so much more than just two people being together.
Yeah.
No, and it's
For
more
sure.
than, and you're so right. And to me, it's more than a feeling, bro.
Yeah.
Like
It's got to be more than
you
a
can
feeling.
click. Like you get Google eyes, and I've dated some beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? And you just get lost in the attraction of it,
Yeah.
and maybe fall in love with the
Big
idea
booty.
of something.
My
It's very,
bad.
very hard
Yeah.
to differentiate the difference between lust and love.
It really is. I think there's a healthy. I mean, obviously, God, it's in the Bible. Sex is a gift from God.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a way to go about it. I think that's taught wrong in churches. I think there is a reason to wait to get married, but it's not a bad thing.
Right.
But
I mean,
you
it
know-
can't be anymore. It's 2024. Everybody.
well, I know, but I
Everybody.
think it's good to have. I mean, it is. Well, in
Just like with everything, with moderation.
well, I mean, you live your life based on your purpose of how you think how it's going to affect your life.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
The only God can tell you that.
That's
Right.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I mean, I've been I've been no saint. There's not much I have done. And the crazy thing is, it's never been out of wanting to hurt anybody, but at the end of the day, no matter what it came from, it was still selfish of me.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling a hurt or even out of sadness or guilt or not care, So yeah, it's I think that's been the key to me, just realizing being able to be still and be calm, to be honest with you, and not like,
It's okay to be alone. It's okay
Yeah.
to figure out yourself, figure out what you like. And that's something that my mom told me, I think when I was in my teens still. She was like, Randy, quit dating all these girls. You need to just do you, live your life. And I tried that. And once I tried that, I was like, no, I really like who I am versus if they like me or not, And that's I make myself happy every single day,
well, I think it's a great place to be. I don't,
Mentally it is.
it is. I think, for me, a lot of times, and that's why not being disciplined in my own purpose and like action every day of like, what it needs to be from like my relationship with God standpoint. And I'm no super Christian. I'm not trying to say
No, you're good, bro.
everybody's just trying every day, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
One day
that's
at a
up tomorrow.
time.
Right.
And my dad will tell you the same thing.
Yep.
It's an everyday deal. I don't think that people really understand all that men really go through.
No.
And I think that a lot of of me not having that first would, I think women can do the same thing, is you have such a soft heart and such a giving heart that, and you want to be loved. And the way you feel it is generally only from someone else. Like, I think you remove boundaries and you start doing things that they think are acceptable that you know are not, just to please. And maybe it could be minor
Mhm.
things. And that just ends up taking you right back to where you're going end again. And that's in failure.
Yeah,
Yep. That's the big key part to getting to know the person you're with and understanding them and learning who they are before you
jump
jump
in.
into a relationship right away after a month and then moving in with them after 3 months
That's
and
crazy.
so
Yeah,
forth, like
you're right.
if
That is
if you
crazy.
don't take the time to get to know them,
Mhm.
first of all, you got to take the time to get to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, you're always going to make those decisions.
Same mistakes.
100%.
Same
And
mistakes.
that's what I didn't know, because
Yep.
I can know myself. I know I'm this, I know I'm that, I know I'm this, but truly,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying about being honest with myself. No, you're exactly right. And to be honest with you, as hard as it is, I find benefit, I see benefit in getting to know a woman, you know, in a relationship setting without the sex being there.
Yeah.
I
I
remember you
think,
was telling me about that post you had made.
what's that?
That post you made a couple months ago, where
What
you were
about
talking
married
about
women stay out
like,
of my inbox?
yeah, he was like, I'm not here for the lust and all that.
Well,
Like,
no, I'm just like, it's time. Like, I was married. Like, maybe
yeah,
just stop. Like, and it's hard because people just generally open up and talk to me, and I have a big heart. I do want to care, but there's got like, I ain't like, man, you need to cry on your husband's shoulder,
hmm
homegirl. Like, I don't, like, I don't like emotional connections are stronger than physical.
it
Right.
is, it is.
And, I think,
And I don't think anything should ever leave the relationship.
Never
no,
It like if I'm having a problem with my girl, I shouldn't be going to somebody else and
talking to them
talking
about
to
my
them
girl.
about my girl. For one, it creates a negative bias for
Yep,
her.
yep, makes
They
her
don't
look
get a
bad.
chance to know her other than what I'm telling them.
right.
And then it also puts a little seed in their ear to where they could start feeding me stuff and be like, oh,
Yeah,
like,
she was doing this, and
Yeah.
and
she
just
cut her eyes like
putting
that.
it
It just opens the doors for things you don't want,
Yeah,
exactly.
instead of, communicate with who you need to.
Yep.
And I think that's a, boundary I had to learn the hard way through one specific relationship. But, it's so easy for, if you don't get the attention you want, or like someone just did you, like I dated a girl that thought very highly of herself. She's a good hearted woman. I believe that to this day,
yeah.
but she's used to getting what she wants based on what she looks like, and she can. There's just no doubt about it.
Right.
But when you're put in a situation to where, and it's not just with women like that, it's just sometimes out of sorrow or sadness or not knowing, but when you're not, if you're really in it with someone, and that's what I mean, it's more than a feeling, because love's an effort. It's that feeling, that's an emotion. Love's way more than an emotion.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
And that action, when there's not emotion, is what develops appreciation, in my opinion. And if you don't have the same goals in my mind, as far as like, hey, I didn't get it here. I like, I can go online and get 20 guys to tell me I'm hot,
Yeah,
or like, I'm
Right.
doing this to make you jealous. Like, well, that's backwards,
that's backwards.
sweet girl. Like, that's like, we don't want the same things.
Especially if you're trying to build with somebody and you're making that very evident to them
Yeah.
that you're trying to build. Like, I'm trying to actually be in a real relationship with you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go ahead.
That's the thing with social media too, is it's made people expendable.
Yeah.
It's made people
Women get
options.
immediate gratification.
Well, so do
Yeah.
men, bro.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's very true.
I mean, it ain't hard for dudes to get it too. I
No,
mean, you could be ugly
no.
like me and get 40 people in your inbox by saying something funny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
girls be thirsty, bro.
They do. They do, man.
Like, oh, you got your teeth? Come here, boy.
You got them
They're-
quads
Yeah,
out, boy.
whatever, dog. You know what I'm saying?
They're just as thirsty as we
It
are.
is,
Hey, man.
They're trying to drink the tea too.
2024, man.
well, that's the
it,
deal.
bro.
Like,
That's
when
it.
something's missing, here's the deal. When lust is kind of driving your life, which it did mine for a while, because that's what the devil got into me, as far as only way I felt any type of anything.
Love,
Yeah,
affection.
which was not,
Yeah, it's
you
not.
know, our attention,
It's
which
not.
I received zero
No.
in my marriage. So, you get rid of that. And I think what's driven me to really search myself, bro, is praying for like what I really want in life, which is true intimacy with someone, and that love and appreciation factor. but then understanding like I can't wait to be who I need to be for myself till I get that, which is kind of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, well, I get it, so now I can be this way, which is just backwards, you know. And
Well, I think you can heal to a certain point yourself,
yeah,
but being in a relationship and dealing with the things that happened in the past in prior relationships, you'll never be able to
Amen.
heal without being in a relationship.
100%. That's I agree. You're totally right, bro. I think like, and I really believe, that's the purpose of a really good heart.
Hmm.
Like because I've met women that have been through, like the last one has been through so much, and beautiful hearted woman. Like I loved her, bro. But because I wasn't in the same place as her or had the right purpose in my life for myself first and living it out action wise, which she was doing every day,
Yeah.
you know.
She sounds like a rock star,
All I
actually.
did was push her away
Yeah.
because I was needing her to fill
Your void.
my concerns, my desires, my this, my that. And although I was very giving and thoughtful, there was nothing bad in our relationship, so to speak, of like that.
Yeah.
Like she was never going to do that for me,
She
and
had her
and
own
and
purpose,
and because of our past colliding when it did and her reactions to certain things in mine, that's what, made us stop talking. So and really that's what made me like, I don't know, man, you try to repeat the same circle every now and then because if you that's what you really want, you're going to dive down to find out what's up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Like, I'm not going to be one of them dudes that be like, screw the world, women suck, they're crazy, I'm hard, I'm a bad boy, like F everybody, do whatever I want. I'm never going to be that guy.
No.
No.
Maybe I've been that way in moments of my life, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
never to the core.
Right.
I've always kept a soft heart through what I've went through, and I think that the more you go through, the more and understand, the more you can affect other people,
Yeah.
which is truly what I think my purpose is, to be honest with you. I think I've ran from it my whole life, and I don't know what it looks like or how, but I don't fulfillment for me comes from showing love to people that never had it, don't get it, feel like they don't deserve it. People have written off, labeled them as this, they're never going to be that,
Yeah.
and showing them where that actual comes from. Because everybody on this planet was born with a purpose. I don't care who you are, what family you were born into, like
Everybody.
what your childhood was like, what you've been through. And it's not making light of any situation or what people
Mhm.
go through. But I promise you that God has a purpose for everybody on the planet.
Everybody.
And there's just one thing that people have to remember, or two things really, in my opinion, is one, to always keep having hope. You have to know that all things can work together for good. If you lose that, you're going to lose a lot of hope.
Right.
But you have to know that all things work together for good if you put God first in those things.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean people think you have to be some saintly this, whatever. It's not your relationship with God. You
Yeah.
don't. And you always want to be striving to be close to God. There'll be reasons in your life why you go do that. But the times you're not, and you're still like, you say a prayer like, God don't ever leave us. We leave him. You know what I'm saying? He's still there. Like I could be as far out and as cold and as dead doing gangster stuff. Anybody knows God's still up there.
He's still there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Am I wrong? I'm not
You're
wrong.
right. You're right.
Yep.
He's just waiting. But if you believe all things work together for good, even in your lowest moments, and you receive mercy and recognize it, you have to believe that. And you have to believe that you're going to get through what you got to get through, no matter. And for me, it's hard because being impatient's a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's that's been the hardest thing for me to do. But when I knew I was going to live that night, I literally started gaining hope the next day, just in a little bit different way. And it could have been a strand of hope, but it was in the right thing at least.
Yeah.
And I don't care. That one little strand of hope in the right purpose outweighs hope in the wrong things tenfold.
Yeah.
And this is about trying to walk it every day. That doesn't mean like it's everybody's own path, man. But
From that night, what is one big thing that you could give advice to somebody that has or is going through the same thing that you went through?
as far as like which part,
The the waking up and realizing that, you that there was still hope, that there was still you were able to overcome that obstacle of not being here and realizing that, oh, it is much bigger than me. I do have this going
Purpose.
for me. I
Well,
do have this purpose.
the first thing I'll say, I think I understand the question. I don't answer it like tell me, but I the first thing I would say is no matter what, if you're at that lowest point where nothing matters, you're broken, you're tired, you've done everything, you feel like nobody's gonna understand, like you're never gonna have what you want. People don't even look at you the way you want them to. Like it's just like you're fighting against yourself so much, and you've literally pressed yourself down in the dirt. The first thing you need to do, in my opinion, is you have to give it to God first. You have to in your own way. And I promise you, when you ask God to forgive you of your sins in a meaningful way, you're gonna feel an immediate peace. Not that all your problems or things you need to overcome aren't there, but you're gonna feel a peace and calm because the person who can overcome them just came into your heart. That's number one. The next thing I would say, which is what we all is the next thing I would say is find a way to keep that by what you have in your life, the people you surround yourself with, and the actions you take to have it. Because it's so easy to lose. Like I've been there, not in this way, but I've been in that place many times. And you're like, oh, I feel good, back to God, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
good. Then I'm just like, oh, whatever, do whatever. And then I
Back
end up
to
in the
doing.
same spot,
Yep.
emotionally, mentally. But when you reach the point that I had to for God to really wake me up, and you never want to feel that way again. And when you realize that you just had mercy put on you,
Yeah. Hit a
like
little different. Hit a little different.
it's the same as it was, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Just like I can be the same person, just in a different way. You know what I'm
You really
saying?
can. I mean, you ain't gotta always resort back to the same patterns that you've always. It's all about growth, man. It's
Yeah,
all about finding
yeah,
different assets in life, you know.
yeah,
And this doesn't make me happy. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me do this now. Try this one out. Okay, cool.
yeah.
I like this a little bit. Add that to the list, you know. Let's try
Right.
something else, you know.
Yep.
And that's really the big thing. Like you gotta realize, like a lot of people. Let's talk to the people. Like you gotta realize you gotta get out of that same habitual habit, like
Yeah.
that you're just. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still getting the same outcome. Do something different.
Everything's a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me up until I was 32, 31, 32 years old to finally be able to be like, okay, I'm seeing the repetitiveness. What am I doing that I can hold myself accountable to make the changes necessary to be better on for myself so I can be better for other people?
Mhm. People
Yeah.
around you.
You do better than me because I'm 48, bro. I'm old man in the room, dog.
Like
You know
you
what I'm saying?
look like
Whatever, I don't know, man.
he looked around like
Yeah.
somebody's gonna pop up on
I
him.
mean, I
That's
realized
what-
it before, like, he's just, like I said, like, marriage is a big deal. I moved down here to get away from all that stuff in St. Louis, and I did what I needed to do. Nothing ever changed from my own relationship front. Like, it was, it
So
was,
let me ask
mhm,
you, man. Let me ask
yeah.
you. Do do you feel like you are giving your kids like the right advice and stuff like that so they don't follow the same paths that you've been on? Or kind of
Well, I think with kids, it's about showing, not telling.
okay.
And they know their dad's been through. My kids know I love them.
Yeah.
Like, my kids have been my whole, I mean, I'm not going to lie, the divorce strained different relationships in children different ways. My oldest daughter, breaks my heart. It just is what it is. Um, uh, but my kids all know I love them. They know dad's went through things,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Things I'm not proud of,
Yeah.
and for a while, the way the divorce went down, I was made to do some different things. I felt so guilty. I thought my kids didn't want to be around me. So I wouldn't make them,
Yeah.
I bought a nice home with pool and stuff. I want to be over there, but I wouldn't make them come over. And hindsight, that's people could judge me if they want. I did it out of trying to do what was best for them. I wanted them to be comfortable. I want to know that like their feelings mattered to me.
Yeah, kids come
And
first.
and they wanted to come over. They come over, and like at the end of the day, I suck at adulting too. Like I'm not like gonna be the like my dad's
Hey,
like,
dad
son,
of
you
the
need a
year
good
over
woman. I'm
here.
like, yeah, dad. I mean, I'm trying to clean and stuff. I mean, I'm not a dirty person, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like I forget what they want for lunch. I like to cook, but I go grocery shopping when they come over. I don't know.
No, no,
Like I got
no.
protein shakes and freaking waters, and like I ain't got no candy and stuff. I don't.
They said they stay
That
hydrated in
sounds
I
just
asked
like
bed.
my fridge.
Yeah, no, I asked my baby Juju what you want. Like, oh, where do I get that?
Yeah.
So then I get
They
them
don't
that. They're
DoorDash?
not there. I eat the whole box of Cheez-Its and fudge
Man.
rounds. You know, can't do that.
It's when they go back to their mom's house for me, man. That's when I'm like, all right, man, I got 3 bags of chips in there. They'll last till Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't have no sweets around me around midnight, bro.
No, man. I
Get
keep the
some milk,
sweets
it's out.
keep the sweets on the top
Yeah,
shelf, bro.
for sure. But yeah, no, I think that's they know I love them. Like, I
No, I just always got advice from my dad. I came from, I got 3 other siblings and stuff like that. I'm the youngest, so I always got advice. Like somebody telling me, "Oh, you don't want to do this. Don't do that. Don't do that." He's going to hit his head on that wall. So at some point, and
Yeah.
he's going to learn that wall's a lot harder than,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I always heard that. So
Yeah.
like, I just never knew like if that was something that you like instilled in your kids, like you were telling them.
Well,
the
me and
same
my
kind
dad are
of
that
things.
way. I go to my dad with just about everything.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be too easy. It's too young to tell because I think it changes when kids are younger. Like I said, like that's just me and my ex-wife. My wife want to be their friend. There's no discipline.
Yeah, can't do
Like
it.
they don't cuss or drink at my house. They be going crazy at hers. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
She
you
be
though.
calling me like, tell the kids to be quiet with the phone. I'm like, I can't help you.
But I can't.
yeah. So, but me and my dad are super close. And I think with my children, like when you're a parent, like the advice becomes more authoritative versus conversation.
Yeah.
And like with my older son now, we have more conversations. He's 19. You get to that point, and I think my younger son, he's got a potentially real big future in football. Like, but he talks to me. We talk about things like the weight training or the this or the that or this from the sports aspect because that's where we connect.
Yeah.
Or hunting, stuff like that. But I think that changes as they get older. When things get deeper. Can you hear me now? When things get deeper into it, that changes. But yeah, I feel that way. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always going to make every effort to be as close to my children as I possibly can.
Hey.
Whether they, I said my oldest daughter, she chill out with her mom and
How old your oldest daughter?
20.
20. Yeah, she at that age, but she don't want to hear nothing.
Well, it's not that. It's just my ex-wife was very open about our relationship in front of the children. There was never any hiding anything. I wasn't good. She wasn't good. She was her friend. They could fight a lot. I think it recreated some resentment towards me. But I'm never. I don't understand the parents that are like, well, you're like, well, screw them. They're like, it's your kid, bro. Like, what are you
It's
talking
your
about?
child.
Like, I'll give her space, what she needs to do and think about and heal. But I'm always gonna like reach out to her till I love her, ask her to forgive me for anything. If you want to talk, like, what can I do for you? And at the end of the day, like, I went through a lot. So,
Yep.
you know,
I don't have kids, so
yeah.
I can't relate on any of that.
There ain't
right
nothing
now.
better, bro.
So
I be telling this man, I'm like, bro, you good.
There ain't nothing,
man.
but now here's the deal.
You
Like
good.
I was catching my girl that had a 2-year-old. I love kids. I would take on other
Facts.
children's like I like my own. I would love to do that. But choosing to do that, what age? Like almost can't be younger than Juju, bro. I don't know.
He can't, man.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm
man.
just kidding.
No, man, because like I already know what you mean, man. Little kids, that's a lot, dude. Like,
Yeah.
It's fun though. I miss it.
It's
Like,
fun.
I mean,
a lot of fun, man.
It's busy coaching every team. I was everywhere
Man.
all the time.
And that's what I'm ready for. Like that's where I'm like, all right, we're through the phase, toddler phase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, all right, we got to start developing sports. We got to start figuring out, okay, do you want to do soccer?
toddler
Do you
phase.
wanna-
We doing travel ball like at 4, bro.
Man, nah, bro.
Stupid.
My daughter
is
is
stupid.
My daughter is pure personality, and my son is pure emotion. Like that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's like so. It's like with my son, it's like, hey, when you're ready to do it, I can't make him do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's gonna fall in line,
Yeah.
behaviorally, but like if he wants to play, he's gonna play. If you don't want to
that's
play,
that's
he
the
ain't gonna play.
biggest thing. If
You
they
know?
don't, especially kids going, drives me nuts. But kids that go into want to go to the next level or this or that, or I see parents basically who probably never played anything. They're pushing their kids to like
do something that they don't want to do, or
that they could have, like they should have been able to do, but it was the coach's fault or whatever,
Mhm.
like politics, whatever. I'm gonna say this out loud, but if politics comes in the equation, that means you're in the middle or the back, homeboy. Like, figure out how to get up front.
Yep.
I'm just being dead serious, bro. Because
Yeah.
every coach, you play, you play.
You play, you play.
Like
If
you don't
you
put,
don't play,
like
that's
put
on
on your
you.
kids. And if your kids don't want to do it,
Man.
don't go do it. Like I expose my kids to everything.
Yeah.
When they decided to drop things up, my daughter could have been a great quit volleyball. My older son played it all.
Yeah.
Younger son's like, I just like football and hunting. I'm like, perfect.
That's cool.
Juju was like, I don't care. I want them to be happy. But what do they do? I want them to get the most out of themselves.
Yeah.
But it's up to them. Bro. About what you tell them, what you do.
Mhm.
Like, the stars are written already. You know, little Johnny ain't going to go from being like, oh, they don't have him. But I mean, at the end of the day,
you got to work for it, though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You have to work
When things
for it.
change, I have hope for every kid.
Nah.
I think that's the other problem with, we're getting off topic a little bit, but one of my good friends, I mean, I coached a long time too, but building confidence in kids.
Yeah.
And I differ than other people on that, especially in the little circle of friends I got. One in particular who's a basketball coach. They really think confidence comes from never putting your child in position to succeed all the time. Like all the good players, all this, all that. And like never letting him fail
Mhm.
and telling him that, and when he does fail, like making an excuse for him to fail or coddling him. And to me, that does not build confidence.
No, not at all.
And for me, building confidence is, hey, bro, if this is what you want, like, I'm going to throw you in the fire and I believe in you, but it's on you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put it, just, my
Put him
older
in
son, he
position to
failed.
win. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
But if you want real deal, especially
out
like
there and
next
do
level stuff, whatever you want to go do, here's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you're going to be exposed to. Go out and do it, bro.
Yeah.
And when you fail, I'm not going to be like, told you couldn't do it. You're nothing. It's going to be like, yeah, bro, like you can do it, dude. This
work
happened.
harder.
This
let's
is
do
what we need to
this.
work on. This is
Yeah.
what we change. That's
Yeah.
being realistic with your children while
Yeah.
believing they can do whatever they put their minds to.
Yeah.
That is, though.
And I think when you see your child, even like the best was my little girl. Oh my God. When you see them turn that corner for themselves of like starting to believe themselves a little bit,
Yeah. That confidence.
there's no more rewarding feelings.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't go away. But you know why? Because they put that there themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Just someone behind them
Something
saying,
you obtain. You can't be given that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
just by someone behind them saying, hey, I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Or shoot, even they just try it.
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me. Like when my kids just try stuff and they do it, I'm like, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. And they do it. I'm like, okay. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job. Good
Let
job.
'em.
Don't do it again, but good job.
Let 'em. I mean, they found purpose, and I think it's a big deal. But
That
anyway,
was one of the quotes I've heard. Like I said, I don't have kids or nothing, but one that really stood out to me was allow them to be who they are, not who you want them to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very true.
I mean, I feel like that gets on what we were talking about earlier. You know what I'm saying? If you allow them to be who they are, you know yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to know what triggers you when you get older. You're going to know what you like, what you don't like. You're going to know
It is.
that's a red flag. I don't want to fuck with that. Yeah,
Right.
My
Right.
bad.
Well, I agree with that statement 100%. It is our job to shape them
Mhm.
into being young men and women.
And functioning adults of society.
Yeah. And to me, like it can definitely happen with just a mom. It can definitely happen with just a dad. That doesn't, but I think there is purpose in having a mom and a dad
It really is.
Oh, absolutely.
for men, for boys and girls,
It really
and
is.
being in the right home. I mean, that I think, we won't get often into that, but a lot of the, what'd you say?
I said next time.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the, a lot of the, fabric of society has been deteriorated by deteriorating the fabric of family.
Yeah.
And that's just
It's a family
factual.
structure. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And
And the
that's-
statistics.
That's just family. And
That-
wanting to take over and wanting
Yeah.
to government or school to be your, I mean, it's just,
No.
and I don't care what people say, and things do affect, but there is still no greater influence on your children than you being involved in the right way and in your own home.
Yep.
No matter what's going on in school,
Yep.
no matter what's going on in government,
Yep.
no matter what they hear or see on the internet, like the biggest influence is you in that house. And that's just factual.
That
Yep.
is. That is. That is.
So it's
Print you can make.
And one of the things, like, I've never been big on like homeschooling or anything like that. I grew up in the public school system and everything, but I've swayed more towards homeschooling than anything now these days, because it's mind-boggling once you break it down to look at it in a way of they're your kids, why do you have to go to the school, sign them out, and take them back? Like, they're your kids.
Yeah.
Whenever you give them to the school and they go there,
I f
they're then no longer your kids because you can't just pull them out. You have to have the school's permission.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
well, I understand that from a standpoint of signing in and out from a safety standpoint
yeah.
in today's world. But my sister's homeschooled her children off and on different times. You know, I think now homeschooling's a lot better because you can, back in the day, they didn't have all the
They can
outside
track it.
things for
Yeah.
like you used to do sports at the school. They have the communities because from when I grew up in like small town USA, like Pentecostal people who didn't
Mhm.
go, you know what I'm saying? Like some of those people are not socially,
Yeah.
have
Equipped.
never adjusted. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So now it's a lot different. But I think
Yeah.
you want control in the home.
It's a lot different. My son's homeschooled right now at the moment, but it's a lot different now. But I mean, from what you're saying, I feel like it's more so like setting them up for like society. I think that that's really what that gets kids head. When you clock into work, you at work. You can't just leave
Right.
without telling anybody. You know what I mean?
Right. However,
But like, I still understand where you're coming from. Like, that's your child. You should be able
like,
to get
well,
them whenever you want. You
yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
to
it
ask the
goes
teacher.
it goes beyond that too,
Yeah.
I mean, you're wanting them to be creative. You're wanting them to be successful while they go to school and they don't learn anything about today's day in life.
Oh
They
yeah.
don't know how to
Oh
do
yeah.
taxes. They don't know home ec stuff. They're only taught math questions,
Mhm.
like, yeah, math is good for counting money, but other
Right.
than that, what do
It's
you
like,
need
what do you
math for?
when
Yeah.
when's the
Why do
last
you
time have you used algebra?
Right.
Like, when's
You know
the
what I'm saying?
Ever
you
wanted
probably use
to.
it more than me or
Yeah,
him, but
never
like,
wanted to. Yeah. Well, I think what you're talking about is the concepts behind
Yeah.
in front of them.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely. I think, my kids have went to Jackson, all of them, and Jackson does a great job. I mean, there's pros and cons to every school, but you can
Right.
be as involved. They take everything as serious and supportive from art and music to football and basketball. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's just and I think the only thing I would not ever homeschool my kids for is protect them from the pressures of other kids and people, unless it got to the point where they couldn't handle it. Because I'd rather teach my kids how to handle that now than have to learn how to do that within their adults. Not that you can't when you homeschool
Right.
Yeah.
people, but I would never pull my kids out because of that unless there was like some
Right.
type of huge problem. Which
Yep.
my kids were able to learn some stuff like I said, that biggest influence is at home. I don't care where they're going.
It
Yep.
Where they're
is
at.
though. It is.
And
100%.
but I said, I told you before, like I'm nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Stop
I've
saying that,
always had a
man.
heart
You
for
are
people.
somebody.
Well, I know. I know.
You
I know.
are some.
I
Quit
know.
saying that.
Well, I'm
man.
not saying that way. I'm saying I know.
Like, I ain't nobody special. Like, I said
Well, I'm
that.
not saying. Well, I'm not meaning like in like a bad way. I'm just like I'm
Yeah.
like you gonna listen to like I don't care. Like
Nah, man.
if I can share something to
somebody's
help
gonna
somebody
hear.
else, then yeah, hopefully it does.
Yeah,
I think
Somebody
that.
gonna hear you.
I
Somebody
mean,
gonna
I
hear
try
you.
to think out what I'm saying, and
And that's
comes
what
from-
we
it
trying
comes-
to do here
yeah,
at
it is.
Unveiled Pass podcast. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it comes
saying?
from- well, so that was I didn't know that it was called till I walked in here, and I saw the unveiled pass. I'm like, dang man, I've been looking for my unveiled pass. That's what happened.
It makes sense
I
now.
found my real purpose.
It makes sense
The
now.
show came
man.
together. Here we are.
It
Dang.
makes
Yeah.
sense now, man.
Yeah.
He said, here it is.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Oh snap! Walk
Yeah.
outside, gonna be a good-looking woman with the same purpose out there. It's all going down.
He said, hey,
Yeah.
hey, baby, my path has been unveiled. You want to come with me?
Yeah.
No, man. That's what we here to do, man. We here to talk. We here to, share our
Yeah.
stories, get point of views, perspectives.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? What you say might help me. I might think about something that you've been through while I'm going through it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that might I might be able to get through whatever I'm, saying,
Yeah.
just off of the words that you've spoken. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, if so, I hope so. Like, I think dudes,
guys need to talk
They need to talk more,
serious
man.
more.
I
Like,
mean,
that's
bro,
the thing, man.
yeah.
Like, all podcasts that are out there in the world, like, there's really nobody talking like serious like this. Like,
There's a book that really changed my perspective
yeah.
on everything, and it's a book by Jason Wilson. I actually listened to the podcast that he was on Joe Rogan, and he wrote a book. It's called To Cry Like a Man, and it talks about his whole life coming up. And
Like that.
what he does now is he teaches martial arts, and he allows fathers and children and their kids to come in there with him, and they do. He teaches them the martial arts and stuff, but he also puts a like certain things into perspective. Like if like one of them that stands out to me in particular is um he has the father get down and start doing push-ups. And then he's like, son, you know what your father goes through on a day-to-day basis and all this stuff. And the kid's like, yeah. He goes, okay, well, on top of you acting up, on top of you being bad in school and being disrespectful, lay on top of him. You think he can carry that weight any longer than what he was before?
Mm.
He goes, he needs you to be
Accountable.
accountable and so forth, you know what I mean? And help carry that weight. He's like, once they started doing that, he's like, start pushing with your dad on the, on
Start
there.
doing
So
push-ups
he
with 'em.
started pushing, like he was still on top of his dad, but he was pushing. And he asked the father, he goes, is that easier now? He goes, yeah, see, you're being compliant, helping your
Mhm.
father out. He goes, he's able to do a lot more
Well,
push-ups now.
that's a great illustration.
It is. It really
I think it
is.
boils out what we talked about a lot tonight too. Is like we talked about caring about other people and being understanding and knowing ourselves, but like to be truly understanding of somebody else, you gotta be over yourself.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna weigh them down. That's what I'm tired of doing. Like I want
Yeah.
to love somebody. I want someone to love me. Like I don't want to. I want to help them. Like I want to develop that appreciation. But like I'm tired of put a weight on people because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it just makes me feel worse about myself.
Mhm.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's what had to change.
Yeah.
So and it was a hard thing to do, but
That's a hard pill to swallow whenever
It
you
really
finally
is.
are accountable and you're like, damn.
yeah. But you know what? To want what you really, what I know that I really value more than anything in my life, which is what we talked about. Like I had to, like I had to
Mhm.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's, people say now, like when you're a kid, the answer's always been so simple. Like, we'll turn to God. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll turn to God.
Thanks
Yeah.
for that.
Got you. Yep, did it. What
Thanks,
now?
cool.
Yeah, it's just, they just don't,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just don't work that way.
No, man.
I'm
You gotta have
like-
your head in it, man. That's the
It
thing.
is.
You gotta have your head. You gotta have your head right. You gotta have your priorities in check.
Well, it is. Well, the heart's full of emotion, but the way to your heart, what's going to control the heart's in your mind.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that discipline in your mind to know exactly what's going on and what you're doing, your emotions are going to be all over the place. You're going to be searching for different things. You're going to know what's going on.
See, that's a lot of problems that men have. They get emotional. They don't even know they're emotional. That's
Yeah.
why they crash out over women. Like, I killed.
Yeah. Well, that's just insane. I can't.
You know?
Yeah. The violence towards women thing. I've never.
Been there before.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all. I
it's
mean, a lot
all-
of us. A lot of us have. A lot of us
Yeah.
have. You know what I'm saying? I've had a few females that I've been like, nah, you ain't leaving me.
And I think that's a lot of growing up wise is us as men not being taught how to correctly regulate our emotions
Mhm.
and everything. And so we
Wow.
just go to brute force because,
Brute.
there's no crying, no pain, no gain.
You're
used to just
a
pushing
man.
through.
Yeah.
Push
you
At
just
the
Just
same
keep
time,
going.
you're reflecting, knowing how you change yourself, but you're wanting time to prove it. So just stay with me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I don't have to feel that hurt too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there, bro. Like you chase women that don't want you no more for a long time because of that, bro.
Yeah.
Like such an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Like, why did I do that?
Yeah. But
Man.
I think that I think it's good to talk about these things just in general, man. I think it helps people let it out, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
if it helps other people, great. And at the end of the day, I think women need to be really appreciated by men and see a different kind of man than what they've seen before or had or experienced. And in today's world, you got to prove that.
I think it's more like my own opinion, but I think women these days need to be more open-minded and understand where men are now. Like, we ain't your dad, we ain't your grandpa. Like, it's different day and age. Like, the standards are way different now. You know what I mean? People need to learn how to communicate and understand, if you see this way, I see this way. We don't have to hate each other.
Well, yeah, no. When I think, I think it's the same for women. It is for men. Like all their stuff comes from hurt and pain too,
It
bro. And
does.
what's happened to them, look, whatever they got going on.
And it's tenfold with women too, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, they're emotional creatures. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're just, and I don't mean that in a negative way. They're just like, women are on this planet for a reason, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and you got even said,
Copy machines.
they're not here to like do dishes and clean your house and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're like that. So that 50s role model, what man, woman, I think there's something to being submissive to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it should never feel that way. You should be appreciative. And I might be
Yeah,
telling you what to
still
do
love
and you
it.
doing what I say. Like people misconstrue that all the time.
Yeah.
Like read up on what that actually means and stop using that as an excuse.
Yep.
like to guard your heart from being with somebody. If I'm being completely honest, like
That's what it is, though.
it's like,
You keep it
like,
real, bro.
kind of do what we're doing, like have some emotional maturity about it and like figure out what's up.
Yeah.
You know, because there's dudes out there like me that'll stay with you through. Like I'll go through whatever pain you have to
I'll
deal
help
with.
you out. You know what I'm saying?
Like I will be understanding her, but you gotta like
talk to me.
you gotta let me give me a chance to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like
dumb it down for me.
but I just like I said, I think those are byproducts a lot easier if two people have the same purpose for themselves, like of what they're living under and by.
Yep.
Call it code, call it with God, whatever you're gonna live. They have that. Then I think everything else is pretty much just a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine really doing a relationship without it, to be honest with you. It's just never gonna work.
Are you looking to be in a relationship right now? You looking for a woman?
I'm always open to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not one of those people that believe you have to be, I gotta be in this place before I can like
I gotta reach these goals before I can date.
I don't do like it's like like you said earlier, bro. I think that there's benefit to going through this, but if their purpose in their life's the same as mine, as far as who they want to live for, what they want to do, like I think there's benefit in not going through life and struggles alone, even if they're happening right now.
Yeah.
Whether it be job changes or dealing with addiction or like whatever you got going on.
There's always going to be something going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Always.
There always is. But if we have that same purpose and same balance in mind of who we're serving first before we're serving each other, like it's just, that's how it works. So am I open to a relationship? Yeah, I'm always open. Like I want to be with somebody. I don't like being alone.
Yeah.
Do I have to be with somebody? No.
No.
But I'm at the point where I want that person to have that same type of, like I said, I met one.
Yeah.
And I screwed that up because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And it was nothing like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yeah, I don't like, and people like, I got buddies my age single. They're like, man, she got to have her own money. She got to have this job. She got to be this. She can't have this, no kid. This. I'm like, and they ask me, and I'm like, bro, they could be a waitress or a CEO. Like, I've dated them. I don't even care, bro. I care about what kind of heart she has and what kind of person she wants to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, man, all that other crap goes away. That house goes away. The cars go away. I could lose my money tomorrow. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I want someone that's going to walk through, like, and the Bible talks about that, actually. Talk about, marry someone that you can go to war with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And to me, that's what that means.
I mean, same team.
Yeah, like, I'm
It's the
going to
same
fight
team.
for each other. Like,
Yeah.
and to me, when you do that, and you learn to appreciate what the other person is trying to understand and even sacrificing themselves for you to understand or to show you, even though when they feel like they have to, like helping you overcome traumatic experiences and stuff, bro. Like,
yeah,
that's intimacy, bro.
It is.
Like,
it is.
So yeah, I want that. Who don't want that? If it found tomorrow, I'd start that. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
But at the end of the day, they gotta have that, man. Like I can't deal with nothing else.
So ladies, he's saying, don't come over here if you ain't complete. He's like, at least be
now you could be broken.
somewhat complete. Somewhat complete.
You can be
not completely broken, but somewhat complete.
No, man. I mean, like, you just
I'm
gotta,
trolling, bro.
You just got to. Yeah, I know. No, it's all good, man. Like, hey, man, ugly dude like me take all the help they can get, bro. Go ahead, just put my link at the bottom, homie.
He said, you need to reach all the way down there.
Yeah.
Reach all the way down there. I got one.
Yeah. No, I mean more of a.
No, you want to
like them other past, because like I said, I think like you hit it on the head. It's going to take someone else to help heal that part of you in a relationship.
Yeah.
And wherever you're at in your journey of healing yourself from the hurt or trauma you've experienced or bad things you've done, the guilt you like, whatever the case may be, like there's no judgment. Like we all have things.
Yeah.
But if they're in a place where they can, like, they started that process and journey of trying to live that every day and not still living in that, that's where I can have a relationship.
Yeah.
We can get through anything at that point.
Yep.
They don't have to have everything done, complete, blah, 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 blah. That's never going to, they're always going to be doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, we out of time. Is that it?
Yeah. It's getting.
Are we there, folks?
We're there.
All right, man.
Well, thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
being here.
brother.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it.
We'll definitely do it again for sure.
Yeah, it was good.
No, he's coming back.
That's what I'm saying. We'll do it again for sure.
I'm just, bro, he's coming back. We're going to dive back in. I want to know about your 15th birthday next time.
Yeah. I don't even see, bro. I don't remember last Monday, dog.
I'm trying to tap
what
into
you
those
talking about?
memories, bro.
Yeah, no.
Trying to tap into those
No.
memories. All right, well, Justin, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you
Definitely
guys, man.
appreciate
Thanks.
you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys for watching, listening. You know what I'm saying? Unveiled Past Podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, do all of it. Please. Like, please hit me up if you want to come on the show or hit Dustin
Real
up.
paths, real stories. This is Justin's story. Thank you guys for tuning
Unveiled.
in. Yeah.
Man.